we gather here religiously. Thank you again to join us on this Manic Monday. We have this family estate, just a little portion of this big, beautiful portfolio of the largest landowner family-owned estate in Argentina. So, as you know, Argentina in the last 10 years, it became huge with the beautiful Malbecs and Torrontes. And Zuccardi is definitely, for many ways, a pioneer. And we will talk about this wine in a second. Family is what is important. Every time we like to talk about family, the history of the winery, where they came from. So as you can tell, Zuccardi is not really a Spanish last name, it's more Italian. In fact, in 1963, Alberto Zuccardi, father of the Zuccardi family, he was already at the time the third generation Argentinian, and his family originally moved from Avellino, which is in southern part of Italy, outside the popular town of Naples. So Alberto in 1963 moved from their hometown with his family to the Maipo, and in Maipo they start to develop vineyards. Then his son Jose in 1990 moved everything to Uco Valley, start to develop Uco Valley, which is what they're renowned for. But the real revolution doesn't happen until 2003, when the third Argentinian generation of the Zuccardi family, Sebastian, took over, and they start to bring grapes such as Cabernet Franc. Never heard in Argentina before. Nobody was doing anything with this French varietal, one of the 5 popular French Bordeaux varietal. So the Zuccardi is kind of, popular for developing and getting new ideas. So all these vineyards are in the Uco Valley, which is about 32 to 4,200 feet above sea level. So we're talking about extremely high elevation. High elevation in this case are fantastic because the minerality of the soil, all the protein, and the microclimates of these vineyards are really unique in the world. Nobody can claim such high elevation as Argentina. And of course today we have mainly we concentrated on Malbec. Malbec, that is a French grape. So everybody will be asking, why Malbec from France is not really popular in France anymore, which it is with the Cahors, which is a wine from southern France, but is mainly popular in Argentina. Well, because France, after the phylloxera, which is a bud that kills the vines, pretty much killed all the Malbec in France. And Malbec is one of the 5 original grapes of Bordeaux: Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, Merlot, and Malbec. Malbec in France is still used in Bordeaux in 2, 3, 5% at top. But it was reintroduced thanks to Argentina. Apparently somebody from France immigrated to Argentina, bringing some varietals of Malbec, some little plants, and replanted them there. And after it disappeared completely from France, it was found in Argentina and brought back. So it's kind of a beautiful story. And Argentina made of this varietal their own national identity, which is, once again, we're talking about terroir. When we plant a varietal in Italy, and then in California or Australia, and then in France, they can have the same name, they can come from the same rootstock, but they're gonna taste different because the terroir, the soil, the elevation, and the weather. So enough talking about these things, which are really important and fun to know about when we drink wine, so we know what we're doing. So today we have a beautiful rosé of Malbec. It's a sparkling Méthode Champenoise. Summer wine. Everybody always drink a sparkling from France or Franciacorta or whatever. This wine is delicious because it's made of 100% Malbec as a classic method. Great with aperitif. Is brut, but it's not extremely dry. It has a lot of floral, a little bit of strawberry hue and raspberry, but again, it's not a sweet wine. It's dry, and it goes great with appetizer, or why not with anything. So Santa Julia, as you can see, is the only label that doesn't say Zuccardi. Same family. Julia is the daughter of Sebastian, therefore he decided to name another lines of wines of Santa Julia to his daughter, and the Zuccardi concentrating more on still wines and not sparkling at all. Also, another thing that is very important, because it's nice to hear about people that give back. The Zuccardi family, they do extremely beautiful things for the community. They donate for school, they give free health insurance to their employees, medical care. It's really a nice little community that they have going on. So not only they make a great wine, they don't buy any grapes, everything is a estate from their own vineyard, but also they treat the employee like family, and that it's beautiful. It makes you happier when you drink a wine knowing that a company is taking care of the employees. Second wine, now we're jumping into the Zuccardi line. Second wine is the Zuccardi Serie A, or A series, is Torrontes. Serie A stands for Argentina, because they want to concentrate the A series on the microclimate or the specific varietal, and in this case it's Torrontes. Many of you heard Torrontes, many did not. What is Torrontes? Torrontes is a beautiful white varietal that I would put probably in a order of intensity, perhaps right after a Pinot Grigio. Pinot Grigio has more citrus, more lime, more acidic. Torrontes is a little bit rounder, has a little bit more residual sugar. It's not sweet, but it has a little bit of sweetness at the end compared to a Pinot Grigio, of course. So definitely it's not a Chardonnay and it's not a Pinot Grigio, but if you want to have an idea of what it is, Torrontes is probably closer. Super refreshing, great with oysters, by itself, light appetizer, light cheese. Concreto. Concreto sounds like the word English concrete, and actually it's correct. Concreto in Argentina means concrete, because this wine is a Malbec, 100%, doesn't see wood at all. This is all aged in concrete vats. Now, concrete vats, don't think that concrete is extremely toxic, so they don't age it inside the concrete purely. The concrete inside has a lining of glass. So yes, there's no direct contact with the concrete. Why concrete is used and not wood or not stainless steel? Wood, first of all, it gives you, the wood, even though it's used, you always give a little bit of influence to the wine, a little bit of character, whether it's vanilla or tobacco, whatever the wood has left, and the wine is a sponge, absorb everything around it. Stainless steel is also another way to do it, but a lot of people use the concrete for the fact that they age the wine like in stainless steel, but the temperature is very steady and is very quiet. The concrete eliminates vibration, external noises, and it keeps a very constant temperature in it.
Gabe, so where do they get their concrete from? I've heard a story, they're
Yes.
not just mixing bags from...
No. This is 100% from the land. When they excavate the soil, to plant the vineyards, of course, they found the gigantic boulders, like incredible gigantic rocks, and they crushed them all and made the cement with those. So that's a good question. Actually, the concrete is made from the rocks. So it's nice to know that they recycle everything % from their lands. So this Concreto is aged for about 1 year in concrete. Is from Paraje, Altamira, Mendoza, Argentina. This is one of the high-end wine that they make. And we started first because I would like to taste a concrete Malbec, and then we move into a French oak age Malbec. So let's get into this wine and let's see how good it is. Big wine, big tannins, 14% alcohol, so it's not that high. The beauty of this wine is that you taste the varietal at its purity. It's purity because there is no wood influence. So this wine tastes like, yes, this is typical color of Malbec. It always has this kind of raspberry, ruby color.
It's very refined. It doesn't seem to like stain the glass as it falls.
It's beautiful.
It's very
minerality, the finish, very elegant. Yeah, this wine definitely, to me, calls for a nice ribeye or a New York steak. A little bit of fat, the minerality of this wine definitely cut through the fat of the steak. So second one is the Zuccardi Q series. So we started with the A series and now we are in Q. Q stands for quality, calidad in Spanish, quality in English. So here we're concentrating on the quality of the wines and the age. So the label, as you can see, it's beautiful with all these stones. Actually, this is a representation of the Andes mountain. And this mountain is one of the oldest mountain range in the world, along with the Alps in Europe. In Europe we call it alpinism. In Argentina they call it Andinism. So when you go to do mountain climbing, you don't say I'm going to do alpinism in Argentina. You call it Andinism because Alps is only for the Alps and Andinism is only for the Andes. So now we have another wine aged for a little over 14 months, this time in French barrel, but Sebastian Zuccardi does not like any type of new oak influence. So there is a zero new oak. Here we're talking about 2 to 3 years old French barrels. So there's still an impact because, as I previously mentioned, no matter how old the wood is going to always have more influence, even though it's a small percentage on the wine, than a stainless steel or a concrete. Okay, this wine is definitely, it's not better, it's just different. I would say more palatable. It has a little bit more fruit. This wine, once again, in my opinion, the Concreto is not a wine that we can open just for fun. This wine called for food 100%. Steak, something, Argentinian are popular for the best steak in the world. So imagine go to Argentina, have one of their steak, I would go with Concreto. This wine here, the Q series, something that we can have just with cheese or just drink it watching TV because it's just good.
Right.
And you can tell immediately the difference. So sometimes a wine, when it stays by itself, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just, we call it food pairing. It would be always nice every time we go to see our customers or, have always a direct food with every wine, but that would be a little bit cost effective.
Yeah, so I definitely would not be able to drink an entire bottle of this
absolutely
by itself without some sort of meat to cut in or some
some cheese. Yeah, definitely.
Something fatty to coat the mouth.
Yeah,
but
and
this other Malbec, definitely drinkable.
And here at the Cellar Door, you have great steaks, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So Wednesday night, order a steak before the Concreto. Now we're moving into the last but not the least. And by the way, I don't know how much you care about ratings, but this Concreto got 94 points, one enthusiast, and the Malbec got 93, one enthusiast, and 91 spectator. Now, as I previously said, the ratings is one person opinion, and of course, to me can be a 93 or a 99 or a 50. It doesn't really matter. It's a personal opinion. But I like to see ratings because it means that the wine is being recognized internationally by major publication. So these are no wine that go under the radar. These are among people who love wine are popular. So when you get 90 points for one spectator, it means that they are considered and worthy such ratings. Ratings, they go with one person. Everybody has a different diet, we have different allergies, we smell things differently. So for somebody it can be an explosion of flower or aromas in their mouth or in their nose, and to somebody else doesn't say anything. To me, these wines are worth their own ratings. I would rate them all in the 90s because they're well done. But putting a specific number on a wine, once again, is a individual, it's a personal choice. Cabernet Franc. So Cabernet Franc, as we all know, is another French varietal, originally from Bordeaux. And it's very interesting because Cabernet Franc is not easy to make. Because Cabernet Franc tends to have a quicker ripe in the pulp, but the seed it does not develop alongside with the pulp. So it's kind of hard because usually the seed and the pulp develop together. So when the pulp is ready, you crush the wine and you make your Malbec, your Cabernet, Sangiovese, Chardonnay, and so on and so forth. Cabernet Franc is hard to make And sometimes people say, oh, Cabernet Franc is a little bit bitter at the end. It's because when the pulp is ready to be crushed, the seed is still a little bit green. So when you crush it and you do a strong crush, you tend to break the pit and gives a little bit of bitterness to the wine. So in this case, the Zuccardi family is well aware the elevation doesn't get super high. During the day, it gets very hot. And this wine actually is exactly 4593 feet above sea level. So it's pretty hot during the day and very cold at night. So Cabernet Franc, once again, this is the first Cabernet Franc planted in Argentina, and that was the idea of Sebastian.
Do you have any insight, Gabe, on, a lot of people know Cab Franc as more of a blending grape. It's something to round off or give body to French blends or Bordeaux blend. Like why 100% Cab Franc? No, this wine is
Well, Cabernet Franc and Malbec definitely. They're both wines dedicated to France, but French people do not really make, unless you go to Cahors where they make Malbec, and Chinon is where they make Cabernet Franc. But other than that, in Bordeaux, nobody dare to use more than 3, 4, 5% of this varietal. That's why in California or in Australia, they do 100% Cab Franc or maybe 90 Cab Franc, and they put a little bit of other varietal to soften these strong tannins. When you drink any Cabernet Franc that is 100%, I love it because Cabernet Franc is the father of Cabernet Sauvignon, I thought so. The finish is always, I don't want to call it bitter, but always some kind of greenery. You almost like you are predisposed when you drink Cabernet Franc to taste that crush pit. You know, I don't know if you ever had a grape and then you eat it, like wine grapes, and then you bite the pit, is bitter.
Right.
Inside.
So what you're referring to are green tannins, right?
Correct.
Which would usually come from stems when they do whole stem.
And Cabernet Franc, yeah, and Cabernet Franc is definitely, to me, the father of the greenery. This one is not green at all. It's delicious. It's also a 2017, so it's a baby.
What is that? Is there some sort of like pepper aromas to it? Is that like green bell pepper or? And I find that a lot with a lot of Argentinian wines in general, but.
Well, usually green pepper is referred, generally speaking, to Chile. A lot of Chilean wines that have the green pepper there is not, in my opinion, a positive connotation with wine. Definitely this one has some kind of green, but more than pepper, I don't know. To me, once again, we all grow up with different things. To me, when I get a kind of a non-ripe eggplant and you cut it, it has the kind of smell, and I definitely, my nose, I smell a little bit of eggplant at the end. Great wine. Once again, if we decide to drink this wine because we want to have fun, I would go Malbec Rosé, Torrontés, and Malbec Q Series. We drink them because we want to have fun and just enjoy them with cheese or friends on a patio, on a porch. But when we go to the Concreto and the Cabernet Franc, I definitely suggest some food. Steak definitely is the first thing that comes to mind. Wines are phenomenal. Once again, we're looking forward to have you all here to drink with us, the Zuccardi family, and spend some time with our friend Keith and Ron and everybody else at the Cellar Door family. Well, thank you very much to check us out today, and hope to see you Wednesday.
Cheers. Thank you, Gabe.
Salute.